everyone out there in LinkedIn Live land. Welcome to Hot Jobs at HireMilitary. We are so excited to be with you this week to share some more incredible opportunities for transitioning service members, veterans, and military spouses, including a fully remote position that we're really excited about sharing as well. So in addition, based on the flood of applications, you probably guessed that we received last week after discussing our SkillBridge opportunity here at HireMilitary within our recruiting team, we wanted to take a little more time today to focus on just some tips, tricks, advice, and some what not to do's when applying for roles. So hopefully that we'll be sharing that at the end of this. So please stick around for that as well. I'm just really excited to share more insights and advice on job searching and applications as well. So if you're a transitioning service member, veteran, or military spouse, please tag yourself in the comments. We just love to get to know our community, find out who you are, where you're at, where you are in your transition, or if you're a veteran, where you are in your current job search as well. So please just take some time to introduce yourself in the chats, as well as making sure that you connect with myself, Lucy, and Amber on LinkedIn. You know this is where we all live during the day. So please connect with us. We'd love to be able to join your professional network as well. I see some people coming on here. Casey, Kenny, Siobhan, welcome. So glad that you guys are here joining us today. So while everyone's taking some time to introduce themselves in the chats, I'd like to take a few minutes just to introduce our team here. If this is your first time at a Hot Jobs at HireMilitary Live, I'd love to just take time to introduce you to our team. I am Kate Wood. I'm a recruiter here at HireMilitary. I'm an Army veteran and a military spouse as well. And we are currently stationed at Eglin Air Force Base in Northwest Florida. Lucy, welcome.
Morning here from Eielson Air Force Base in Fairbanks, Alaska. I see somebody's watching from Wales, so big up to you over there in the UK. I'm a military spouse. We have been stationed here for a couple of months, and currently, I love telling everybody, it's -4 degrees in the middle of Alaska at the moment.
I couldn't do it. I've been living in the southeast part of the United States for like over 10 years, and I can't go back to winter. So I commend you, Lucy, for being up there as well. And Amber, welcome.
Thanks, Kate. Thanks. So I'm Amber Flores. I'm a recruiter here at HireMilitary. I am a military spouse, and I was Air Force for a short time. We're in San Antonio. It doesn't get very cold here, but you see, I really enjoy hearing that your temperature every day.
It makes us feel better, right, Amber, when we're experiencing fall and winter to hear what actually winter is.
Exactly.
Well, you know, when we were stationed at Minot, they used to say only the best come north, but in reality, Minot, North Dakota is not north compared to here.
No, not at all. Not at all. Oh my goodness. Well, thanks so much, ladies. So glad that you're both here with me today. As always, we love hearing where you are all tuning in from. I see people sharing where they're at, which is so exciting. We love hearing where everyone is tuning in from. So please continue doing that. It just helps us to get to know you a little bit better. And we've been reviewing so much feedback. So thank you so much to everyone over the last few weeks of Hot Job Recruiter Edition Lives. And we're using all of that information to understand how to best serve you, our military community, moving into the next year. So in addition to sharing more about yourself personally, just please type in, what barriers or obstacles are you having in your job search or your transition? And also, what types of roles are you looking for? What roles, specific job titles, industries? Are there any specific companies you're targeting? This is all really great information that we can use just to try to help find meaningful careers for our community going forward. So please just share any and all information. We go through every single comment following these LinkedIn Lives, and it really does help us to understand you, understand what you're looking for, and how we can, pivot and work towards making sure we have opportunities for our community in the future. So share away. Let's light up those comments with all of that information, please. So we are planning another LinkedIn Live in the near future that solely focuses on job searching. We're going to share some basic tips, tricks, and advice on resumes here today, but we are planning a very kind of overarching LinkedIn Live here in the future about all things job searching. So if there's any questions you have, things that you want to learn more about, whether it's transition specific or job searching, please type that into the comments. We're going to compile all of that and kind of build out our agenda for that LinkedIn Live based off of what you really want, what you're really looking for, and the answers that you need to help make you successful in your job search. So please drop that in the comments as well. All right, but you want to be here to learn about hot jobs. So let's continue to dive into that as well. Just one more caveat letting you know that the link to our careers page is in the description of this live. So you'll be able to find that as well as a link to all of the SkillBridge internships that we currently have available as well. So both of those links are in the comments section the description section of this LinkedIn Live. You'll be able to find more specific information on all the roles we're sharing there. All right, so let's get into it today. The first position we have up is coming to us from Amber. Welcome again, Amber. And you're going to be talking to us about that fully remote role I mentioned earlier.
Yes. So this is for a transition assistance advisor. This is a fully remote role. This is actually a new role that we just published, I think late last night or early today. We are recruiting for an advisor that will be working with us here at Genova and HireMilitary as part of our team, but supporting the Department of Veterans Affairs in their program to help the reserve component of the military. So this role is assisting those eligible members of the reserves to help them gain access to all of the benefits that maybe they aren't sure that they're entitled to include employment, healthcare, housing, and education. It is more of a community outreach role. It's remote, and it may not necessarily be always that Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 sort of role, but it is a very rewarding job and would suit a veteran, a transitioning service member, or a military spouse.
Wow, this is really exciting. And obviously we've heard about this opportunity kind of coming up for a little bit here internally within our company, but now to see it fully published out there in the open and the fact that we're able to just share this with everyone, it's really exciting. Again, this position is called the Transition Assistance Advisor. You can find the full position description on our careers page. Just more information about the intricacies of this role, the qualifications, experience that we're really looking for. So Amber, thank you so much for sharing that. I know I'm excited to bring more people on to our team here. And in a fully remote capacity, that's always so exciting. So thank you so much for that. Your next role is an operations associate in Phoenix.
Yes, operations associate in Phoenix. So this particular client is a global organization. They supply a worldwide customer base with the most advanced technologies and really innovative products. It's a great company. They work with the foremost manufacturing. So we can think semiconductors, automotive, and coating industries. For this operations associate, they're looking for somebody that does have that mechanical aptitude, that has some experience working with basic tools and has a solid understanding of facility and manufacturing equipment. You can think air compressors, airlines, pumps, humidifiers, that sort of thing. And they are looking for a high school diploma or GED. And again, that's the operations associate in Phoenix, Arizona.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Amber. I love hearing about that opportunity as well. A great entry point into a wonderful organization. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I've been looking in the comments here. There's been some questions about the transition assistance advisor and if that's available for SkillBridge position. And correct me if I'm wrong, Lucy, but at this time, that position is not available for SkillBridge. It's a full-time permanent role with our company. Assisting the Department of Veterans Affairs. So no, I'm sorry, that is not a SkillBridge opportunity, but we have over 200 open SkillBridge opportunities available right now that are live on our SkillBridge website. So please go check those out. And one of our recruiter for SkillBridge, Brandy Walker, would love to be able to answer any questions you have about any of those open SkillBridge opportunities as well. So thank you so much, Amber. Again, if anyone is interested in the two roles Amber mentioned, they're called Transition Assistance Advisor or Operations Associate. You can type that title directly into the chats. We'll know to reach out to you specifically about that. Or you can go ahead and head over to our careers page and find the full position descriptions, as well as the direct link to apply right there in the position description. So please check those out if you're interested. All right, so now it's my turn to talk about a role. We have an operations manager position located in LaSalle, Illinois. And if you're not familiar with LaSalle, it's about an hour outside of Chicago. This operations manager position is with a really amazing client. They are a national brand that has facilities all over. We've got a facility in Las Vegas that we actually just hired an operations manager for, another veteran, and another veteran that was hired at their Jacksonville, Florida facility as well. So they are definitely a veteran-friendly company. They are really excited to bring on some military talent. Someone that has experience with commercial warehousing is ideal for this role. They do require someone actually to have at least, 4, 5, 6 years of commercial warehousing experience in order to apply for this operations manager role. I do want to mention that it is a shift role. So the shift is from 3:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. Monday through Thursday. So if you're someone that maybe worked nights over a deployment or worked nights in your current role and loves being on the night shift, this is a great role for you. And then you have a 3-day weekend every weekend, which is awesome and also great. So this does require a bachelor's degree or logistics experience preferred. So please, if you're interested in the operations manager role in LaSalle, Illinois, just type that into the comments, operations manager, or you can go ahead and check out the full position description and the link to apply that is in and on our careers page. Again, that's a really great company. We've hired other veterans with them in the past. One of the distribution center directors is actually a veteran himself. So there's great potential and growth for someone within that company kind of moving up and being promoted internally as well. So it's a really great role. And I welcome you to go check that out. So we are going to now segue into some of a more just kind of a dialogue about what we see as some really great advice on what to do when you are preparing to apply for one of our roles. So not just for our roles, this could be for any company, just some things that we see and come across, a lot of questions people have about resumes, what to do, what not to do. So Lucy, I'd love to hear, just kind of talk me through some areas that you feel like are maybe some pain points sometimes on resumes, or what advice you have for our transitioning service members, veterans, and spouses when it comes to resumes.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I answer that question, Kate, somebody did ask if the transition assistance advisor position was a GS role. No, it's not. It's actually working with us here at Tenovo HireMilitary, and we are a private company. So just to make that clear, it's supporting the Department of Veterans Affairs as a contractor for the tenure of the contract. Yes, let's talk about resumes. So the reason I wanted to introduce this idea today was because I went through all of the applications that we had for the SkillBridge internship opportunity to join our team. And it really highlighted to me the lack of, I guess, educational knowledge. And none of these things are big things. They're things that we can all pivot easily and just make tiny tweaks or amendments to really target and tailor your resume and your application to give you the best competitive chance at getting an interview. So the first thing, for example, was we asked for everybody who submitted an application to write a personal summary. I even put a question in the application saying, have you completed the personal summary? It wasn't optional, it was a requirement. Everybody checked yes. And the reason I did it on this occasion was because, we are more than aware that within a SkillBridge capacity, the type of person that we're going to bring on board is somebody who's going to add value to our culture, not necessarily have the exact skill set fit or recruiting experience. And we are totally okay with that. We can teach anybody anything if they've got the aptitude and the attitude. So what I wanted from that was essentially like a summary about you, like a cover letter. Tell me what your resume doesn't tell me. And on so many more than one occasion, so on multiple occasions, I had maybe 2 lines giving me a brief précis about their family. And honestly, that doesn't suffice. What I really need to know, or what companies really need to know if they ask for a cover letter or a personal summary, is about you in terms of what makes you an ideal candidate for this role if you don't have the requisite experience. And what I can tell you was somebody really took time. One candidate really took time. She completed it. It was obvious that she'd done research about SkillBridge, about recruiting, about us here at HireMilitary. And she wrote such a great summary that even though, based on her resume alone, I can honestly hand on heart say I wouldn't have progressed her. Because she really highlighted to me why she would be suitable, we have invited her to screen. So that is the value and the strength of really creating a solid cover letter or personal summary.
I love that. And I think I'm kind of copying something you say a lot, Lucy, but you are your own best advocate, and a personal summary is the place to do it. Filling in those gaps on your resume or highlighting things that you might not have mentioned in the resume, just giving us a little bit of insight into who you are and why you feel like you're the best candidate for the role. That's really what that personal summary is. So please take your time and do that. Lucy mentioned exactly why it's important. So thank you so much. And Amber, I know we've talked about, we see and we read every single application that comes through our system. I know a lot of people talk about, the ATS and it's a robot and all these different things. No, we are on the other side. These faces you see are directly on the other side of the system when you apply. Okay, we are not robots. We are real people. And we read and we check every single thing. We open every single document, every single resume that's sent through. So give us some advice, or just what do you see about when people submit documentation or submit a resume into our system?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple different things that we could talk about, but overall, let's double check those documents that we're submitting, right? When you are done with that resume tailoring process, you've got your 2-page resume. When you go to save it, it is ideal to save it first name, last name, either company name or position title that you're applying for. That way, when we receive it, it doesn't come up as resume version 3, because resume version 3 could be one of 40 candidates, right? And so it really just helps to double check, make sure you're submitting the right version. It's no longer than 2 pages. You have a nice, concise title on that document.
I love that advice. Especially, like you mentioned, if you attach your name onto your resume, no matter where it goes, someone's going to see that's you, right? They pull it up, they know that's you, that's your name attached to that resume. And that's so important just to personalize it, right? It's just that extra effort to name the document, who you are, what position you're applying for, and make sure that it gets uploaded correctly. So with that, I want to make sure, I hope that these tips are, beneficial to everyone listening today. But if there's other things that we maybe don't touch on or you've thought of over the course of these first 2 questions, type those in the chats. Leave us some other questions that you have. We might have time at the end of this to highlight some more questions too. So please type those questions in the chats, whether it's in regards to resumes, whether it's in regards to applications, applying online for positions. What are the questions? What are the things that you want to know or you need advice on? Please let us know. If we don't get time to answer those today, we will use them to answer questions in the future sessions. So please drop those in the comments. We'd love to see what you want to know. So going back to some things we've talked about before, Lucy, do you feel there's a difference in the way someone applies for a skill bridge versus the way they apply or maybe tailor their resume to a direct hire position or a full-time permanent role?
The short answer is no, there's no difference, but you need to know how to apply to a direct hire position in order to know exactly how you should be applying to a skill bridge. And essentially, it really begins and ends with tailoring your resume. We are fully aware and we fully support the fact that many of our transitioning service members connect with a veteran support resume service. But often they take that as a one and done. Hey, I engaged with this corporate company. I engaged with this nonprofit who supports transitioning service members. They wrote my resume for me. It's amazing. Essentially, what they created for you was a generic master resume. And that's kind of like a baseline document. That really should never leave your laptop or your computer ever again, because every time you apply, and this goes back to what Amber said about saving your resume with your name and the job title, you should be making tweaks to align yourself specifically with the experience that the particular role requires. So for example, every time you apply, you should be looking at the job requirements and ensuring that that version of you is highlighted either in your cover letter or in the resume itself, ideally in the resume, because a lot of the positions don't require cover letters. But you really need to be extrapolating that data, that detail, and including that in your document. And I think that really segues nicely along to people often come to us and say, I don't know how to civilianize my resume. Sorry, long word, can't get my mouth around it. And then in reality, there's no such thing as civilianizing your resume. What you need to do is take a look at how the company to which you're applying has listed the requirements, the qualifications, the skills and experience needed. And if you go through and go, yes, I've done that, yes, I've done that, yes, I've done that, but you have it detailed and documented in different words on your resume, you just need to pick up their language and place that into your document. And that's essentially covering off two things: civilianizing yourself, but also targeting and tailoring your resume to fully align yourself with the position, so that when they pick up your resume, when they see it and they're reading it, they are thinking, wow, this is an amazing candidate, hugely competitive. We must place them in the must interview pile, not in the reject pile.
I love that. And that's something you have to put your best foot forward, and being able to align yourself as closely as possible to exactly what they're looking for in a job description is the best way. It gives you the best chances to get that interview. And that's really what an application and a resume does. It gets you to an interview, and where you can show your personality and explain those, explain your background, explain why you're the right fit, why you're the right candidate. So I love that, Lucy. Thank you so much. Such a great answer and such a great topic, right? Everyone wants to know about civilianizing and tailoring. And that's really the gist of it. That's it, right?
Yeah, that is it. And we could talk about that for hours, but that's the short story, good story version of it.
It is. And maybe maybe a future LinkedIn, we will talk for an hour or more about tailoring your resume. But I'd love to know, Amber, too, we talk a lot about, and we get transitioning service members that are at different phases of transition. What is the ideal timeline for when you should start actually applying for jobs in your transition period?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Kate, and one that a lot of people ask, right? So when it comes to that timeline, that window of application, it really is, up to you to use your best judgment when it comes to applying. As far as application windows, where if you're not available for 6 months out, then it probably is not very likely that you're going to be invited for a call. The optimal time to apply really is about 3 months out.
I love that. And, this is different from, starting the transition process, starting a LinkedIn, engaging, conducting informational interviews. All of that should be done well out, a year, 2 years, even when you're still in active duty for a while. You can start networking and meeting people and finding out about what you want to do after you transition. But actually applying for jobs, like you mentioned, Amber, should be done, I guess, like you mentioned, 3 months or so out from when you can actually start. So that's such great advice. And I think that it's just something that can help you to frame when you should be doing things, right? When is the right time to do this? Or even if you're looking for a new job, right? And you're already transitioning, you're a veteran, when should you start looking past when you want to start? So that's great advice as well. And we've mentioned some really great advice, and please keep typing into the chats other things that you want information on. I love seeing, different things people want advice about when it comes to job searching and transitioning. So please keep bringing those comments as well. So we've shared a lot about great things to do, and how you can really stand out. But we see a lot about things that make you stand out in a negative way, which is unfortunate, but it really comes from a lack of understanding, I think, about, the civilian world, life outside the military, and just how things are different. So Lucy, I'd love if you could share some things not to do. Do you have any hot tips on what we shouldn't do when we're applying for jobs?
I've got a very bold statement to make, Kate, today.
Let's hear
it. And honestly, it's the hill on which I'm choosing to die on. Essentially, my last statement for today is choose your words wisely. There are two phrases that we see, or I'll say I see, and I know that other recruiters in our military space agree with me, because we had a great conversation last night during Mike Quinn's LinkedIn Live when he was delivering a workshop on behalf of the USO. First of all, if you have the word aspiring on your LinkedIn profile now or on your resume, delete it. Delete it now. Because as a recruiter, all we see or all we read when we see aspiring is lack of experience. And that's not how you want to position yourself. If you want to be a finance manager and you're not quite there yet, don't put aspiring. Just position yourself. Be brave. Be a finance manager. The second, this one sets my teeth on edge, and it's very military-esque. And you don't see people in the civilian world ever put this on the resume. And this phrase was coined in the 70s, and it probably should stay in the 70s. Servant leader. It means nothing to us. And it literally, essentially, again, when we read that phrase, we think possibly not ready to transition if you're putting that on your resume. Like I said, two very bold statements, probably quite divisive, but like I said, hell on which I'm prepared to die.
Well, and I think they are divisive, and it's probably just because a lot of us, I will be my first to raise my hand and say I had servant leader on my resume for quite a bit of time, and I've educated myself and gotten past that. But it's just something that you see other people doing, and your friend that transitioned sent you his resume, and you're like, oh, this looks good, and he's got a job, so I'm going to do that, or whoever. And you just kind of get in this thing of like, well, this is what people do. They put these words there, but it's not necessarily the right thing to do. And we're here to help make this the best for you, transitioning or finding your next job in a role that you really want, and it's meaningful and it accelerates your career, and it's a great stepping stone, right? And so if it is a little divisive, we're going to still share it because we want you to set your best foot forward, and what we really see is being successful when you're applying for jobs outside the military. So I think it's a great thing to share. I think that it's great to have these really open and transparent conversations about it, because just because it's what you've been doing doesn't mean it's the right thing.
And I've got agreement already. Dion Myers says he agrees with me. Good,
Yay,
at least one person.
Thank you. Yay, validation. I love it. So this has been really great. I hope that everyone that's tuned in has really enjoyed this as well. Just kind of a different take on these LinkedIn lives of us being able to just share. We get so many DMs and so much comments on posts and different things, and we would love to be able to reply to every single one, and we try. But these can hopefully just serve as a way that we can just get some of that information out there on a grand scale. And hopefully, if you have other people that are transitioning or job searching as well that aren't tuning in right now, tag them. They can come watch this broadcast later just to hear some of this advice, some of this dialogue around our tips and advice on job searching and resumes and things like that as well. So thank you so much, Amber and Lucy, for sharing those tips and just having this conversation as well. Again, if there's other things that you want to know about when it comes to job searching, interviewing, transitioning, type those in the chats. We'd love to be able to address those at a LinkedIn Live in the future. And as well, back to the roles that we shared. If any of those roles were of interest to you, the Transition Assistance Advisor, the Operations Associate, or the Operations Manager, please check those out on our careers page, the full position descriptions, as well as the other 60 odd roles that we have open right now that we're recruiting for. Check those out and please apply if you think you're a fit. We'd love to interview and just talk more about those roles as well. So thank you again, Lucy and Amber, for being here with me today. It's always so much fun just getting on here and sharing our opportunities with our communities. And we'd love to have you all tune in next week again for another Hot Jobs with HireMilitary. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kate. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.